Ladies and gentlemen and programmers and everybody else, we're going to do CodeAcademy lesson 9 part 3. We're going to add an item to our array list. All right, so get out your notes. At the top, write 9.3 adding an item, write your name, and then after you ask your intelligent question about the reading, have it signed off. As usual, there's going to be two things to have signed off on every one of these things. All right, so we're going to go, we got to write down our intelligent question. So to get to our intelligent question, we're going to go over to CodeAcademy, and we're at lesson 9. We're on the third of 9 things. We're adding an item. Adding an item is where you should be at. So you're going to read this. Pause so you can read this. Read this. And read this. You can skip the AP Computer Science part. All right, read that, write down. Make sure you read it and understand it. Ask me questions. If you don't understand it, write down your question in your notes for the points. Make sure you are asking questions, though, so that you understand stuff along the way. All right, open up. Okay, so after you've done the reading, hopefully you've read and can understand how to do stuff. So we're going to open up JDoodle. So you're going to open up 9.2, the one that you did last time. And we're going to add to it. So we're going to add one item to your array list using only one parameter, and add a second item to your array list using 2 parameters, and then print out the second element in your array list. All right, let's take a look at this thing here. All right, so in order to add stuff, so you've already created your array list, and so using one parameter, we're going to say the parameter on this is Ferrari. So what you're adding hobbies, right? So you're going to say my hobbies.add, and you're going to add your one hobby, but it has to be in quotation marks, right? So this is one parameter. Now, when we go to add 2 parameters, so it's going to be my hobbies.add, and then you're going to tell me at what location you're going to add it, right? So if you already have the first one, if you have index 0, well, then you're going to go to 1. And then the second parameter is going to be your hobby, and it needs to be in quotation marks. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's helpful. Let's see. Let's go back to the spiel and see. If you can't do it, obviously you're going to have to ask me for help. Okay, so yeah, so as always, you have to get this signed off on your notes. So there should be 2 for every set of notes for the section. There should be 2 sign-offs. Okay, so by the way, what will happen when I run the following code, and how will I improve that code? Let's take a look and see what we're talking about here. All right, so if we come over here to this, all right, if I run this, by the way, this should help you actually do the project that I just said in JDoodle. So here is here's what we did in 9.2. We created an array list called My Hobbies, and we set it to be empty. Okay, and then we're going to add something, myhobbies.add, and we're going to add a hobby using one parameter. Okay, and then we're going to add a hobby using a second parameter. And then for me, I added a third one. Here's the question, though. What's going to happen when, oh, and by the way, here's how you print it out. System.out.print. This is something different that we haven't done before. myhobbies.get, and then it's going to print 0, 1. So it's going to print the second element in my array list. Anyway, all right, but here's a question. What's going to happen when I try to run this? See if you can spot the issue. Okay. So if I hit execute, what's going to happen? It's going to say index out of bounds. Okay. The size is 2, but I said 3 because look, I have 0, 1, and then the next one should be 2, and I put 3. So how do I fix that? Well, I'd fix that by, I could either get rid of this altogether, or I could put 2, comma. So if I put 2 and execute it, it's going to like it, because again, So if I were to draw this out, it would be my table, and it'd be backpacking is 0, camping is 1, and then home brewing is 2. So when I'm adding an element to my array list, it doesn't want me to skip one. It wants to go in order 0, 1, 2. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the spiel here. Let's go back to the spiel. So how do I improve the code? Well, I'd change that to a 2, or I'd get rid of it altogether. All right, so what I want you to do is now complete part 3 in CodeAcademy, but make sure, but before we do, make sure you have me, remember, don't forget to have me sign off on 9.3. Okay, so you're going to create something in JDoodle like I just showed you, and have me sign that off in class. All right, let's take a look at CodeAcademy here, and let's go ahead and do this. So we have to complete 3. So let's see what it says here. We've created an empty array list called to-do list. So here we go, array list to-do list equals, so it's empty, there's nothing in it. And then, so they've created a variable called to-do called water plant. So they want us to make more of these things. So this thing right here, to-do 1, is separate from this, right? So we have our list, our box, or basically our table, and then we have one empty box. So now what they're asking us to do, 2 new empty boxes. So we'll just copy this. Okay, so string to do 2, and I have to shave the chickens, and the next thing I need to do to do 3 is I need to I gotta pluck the sheep. That's pretty important. Okay. All right, so if I hit run, hopefully it's gonna be happy. Okay, I think it's happy. All right, now we're on to do add to do 1 to do and to our to-do list. All right, so we're gonna add this, and this to our table. Right now our table's empty, our array list is empty. Let's see how to do this. So we can look up to it. So we can say .add, and we add the thing. All right. So the name of our guy is to-do list. Okay. So we're gonna go right here. We're gonna go to-do list .add, and what are we gonna add? I always like to put in my semicolon so I don't forget. So we're gonna add to-do 1. Okay, and then so we'll just copy this and we'll add all of them. We're going to add 2, and we're going to add 3. And run. Okay, so now you can see when it prints our to-do list, there's all the things that we've added to that. All right, so that should be it. We're ready to go on to the next one, go on to 4.